cool.
Wait,
So
for a minute. I need to go get a towel so it doesn't make a mess.
that's a great idea.
I gotta go check on Daddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Nathaniel is setting up his workspace, and if you notice where I am today, I'm in the art studio because we're going to do the art part, phase 2 of our volcano. And hold it up and show me what you have there. So you've done a plaster of Paris mold, and then you have some markers or paints to decorate your volcano. Excellent. Okay, hold your volcano up so I can see it, and show that to the camera. And turn it around so we can see all the sides. That really came out great. You did a good job molding that.
No need to keep to get a paintbrush.
Great. So what we're going to do today is paint our volcano to make it more realistic looking. And then once the paints have dried, we'll mix the chemical mixture to pour into it to make it simulate an eruption. That sounds like a great thing. So very good. So do you remember everything else you've learned about volcanology so far? About where's the mantle and where's the crater and where's the ash cloud?
Look, it even actually has that shit. There's like these little holes.
Oh, that is so cool. Like side vents, lateral vents. And then underneath would be the magma chamber down deep in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Well, you have become quite the volcanologist. And you know what? When you log on to the Learning Adventures of the Eastern Sierra Nevada site, the Moodle site that I made for you guys, I posted on your behalf. I posted the first part of this, and that means that you have earned the Volcanology 2 badge, right? So we did the tests and things together for you to earn the Volcanology 1 badge. And so now that you're doing the practical modeling of it, you've earned the Volcanology 2 badge. So you're coming along with your badges. Very cool. Okay, so I see that you've very wisely put down something to protect the table where you're painting, and you have your paints. Is Mommy going to get you a brush or something?
Yeah, she's gonna get me a brush.
Okay. So I have a suggestion about how we should start. I think we should start painting from the top of the cone and work down. And we ought to think about working first with our lighter colors and then with our darker colors, because the darker colors can cover up the lighter colors, but it's really hard to get lighter colors to cover up the darker colors. And at the top, what are you thinking? Oranges and yellows to simulate the lava coming out of the volcano and the glow?
I think we should go from the top down.
Yeah, I would go from the top down. So maybe starting from the top. What do you find at the top of a volcano where the lava is coming out? It's what colors would it be?
Yellow and orange.
There's orange and reds and yellows, those kind of colors. And then maybe some of them drip down the mountain. But what about the rest of the mountain? What colors do you find on the rest of a volcano? Kind of reddish brown. And maybe if it's really tall, you might find some white, which would be like snow. Or even dark, almost black. Very cool.
Some more pinks or something, I don't know.
I want to paint the dripping part of the mountain where it shows the parts where lava would go. Because there's part where the lava would go and the dripping part on the side.
Can we figure out how to do halvesies? If Nathaniel, if you paint the left half, or on your, I guess looking at it from your stand, if you're on the right side of the volcano from your standpoint, why don't you paint the right side from the top to the bottom, and then Nathaniel, you can paint the left side from the top to the bottom, and then everybody can do some. Does that work?
You said Nathaniel twice.
I'm sorry, I meant Emmanuel, you're on the right side, so you would do the right side.
Okay.
And then, so kind of put it in the middle between you, and one of you work on one side and one of you work on the other. Very cool.
Right now, I'm on the right side.
So I'm going to go look and see if I can find a painting of a volcano to share with you.
Can we start painting?
Yeah. And I'm going to find a painting of a volcano to share with you to give you some inspiration. Okay, here's a real wild one. Oh, my internet's slow. Let me try it again. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you can see this. I'll share that for just a minute. Okay, can you guys see that all right?
Yeah.
So see how in this, where the one I have great big, this is what we would call stylized. It's not realistic, but it's really made the colors pronounced to try and emphasize it. So we see at the top of the volcano where the smoke is coming out, a lot of glow, a lot of yellow, then shading into oranges and then reds. And then as it works its way down the mountain, we have the browns and the blacks, okay? Let's take a look at an impressionist painting. And like the word says, impressionist art is stylized in a way that the elements of the art coming together give you the impression of the natural thing that's being modeled in the painting. But if you look at it, these brush strokes, it's not terribly realistic, but when you take it all together, it makes a very realistic painting, even though like you look at these mountains and they're kind of smeary in here. But when you take a look at what the artist has done, they've captured the overall major features of the line and the color, and it gives you an impression. Even to the far mountain range, you get the impression that it's further away because it's kind of gray and misty and like we see things in the distance. So very cool. This volcano, they've only done a little bit of the red and the yellow and a little bit of the lava coming down the side, and mostly they've modeled the mountain of the part of the volcano in browns and greens. So cool. Let's see, what else have we got? Ooh, I like this one. This one is maybe like at night, and it's actually showing the different pieces of hot rock being thrown into the atmosphere. And the top is really yellow and glowing, almost bright white at the center. And then the oranges and then the reds coming down the mountain. And they've made the lines really sharp, which kind of show it as being kind of a violent thing, very sharp and threatening looking. Here's one that's more stylized and impressionistic. Here's a painting that's very realistic. I like that one. Wouldn't it be cool to make your model look like that?
Ooh.
That's a painting that looks real.
It's a painting, yeah.
It looks too real to be a painting.
I know it does, but it's actually a painting.
The red right there for me. Yeah.
This one's done by Salma Mohsen. Let's see what others can we find. Oh, here's a good one. Here's an oil painting of an erupting volcano. And here's one.
These artists really know what they need to do.
Yeah. Here's a good one. I like this one. I'm gonna leave that one up for a little while. That sort of looks like it's even shaped very much like your volcano.
Okay, that looks a little more fake because most volcanoes I've seen don't have that many mountains around them because they would have been destroyed from a while because the volcanoes erupt more than once.
Well, here, how about this one?
Okay, that looks more like a real volcano because volcanoes formed, our islands are formed from volcanoes, so like that's like an island getting formed from a volcano.
Very cool. Yeah, like the Hawaiian Islands. Here's another one.
Is there water in the thing that we can use? Can I do the gray one then?
All right, I'm going to turn off the share because I want to see what you guys are doing. Nice.
What did you do? Sorry.
I like your lava river there, Nathaniel.
I made the lava river.
Oh, you did that, Emmanuel? Very good.
I'll do it at the top.
Very cool.
They should have added brown instead of gray.
It could be, you know, it's different because you've seen different mountains are different. It depends on how much iron and different minerals are actually in the magma that comes up, and when it flows out, we instead of magma, when it flows out, what do we call it again? Lava, right? So depending, some volcanic mountains are very, very red, and some of them are more brown. It just kind of differs.
Oh, peace.
Here, I'll share some real photos of volcanoes. Here's a good one. So you can see this one's all white at the top because of the ash that's been blown out previously and kind of settled. So it turned the top of the mountain whitish gray. And right now it's not erupting a lot of lava. Right now it's making a lot of smoke. It's got a big smoke and ash plume.
It's giving a warning that there will be lava.
Maybe. Some of them are smokers. Some of them just output a lot of gas and ash for a long time.
So deadly because if you have asthma, it could kill someone if they don't get somewhere where there's no ash as quick enough.
You're right. The ash and the dust makes it very hard to breathe. One of the things that you'll find, so there's a kind of volcano that we call a cinder cone. Let me find a cinder cone. There's a cinder cone that we pass that's on the way up to Mammoth. It's called Red Mountain, and it's at Fossil Falls. There used to be two of them, and one of them is almost all gone. You know why?
Because it had blown up.
Nope. Another reason, because people like to use that red volcanic rock, that ash. They like to use it for garden rock, and they like to use it to mix in cement. And so the mining company came and at Red Mountain, and they, over the years, when I was a little boy, it was a great big mountain, and every year as I got older, it got smaller because the trucks were taking and digging it out and taking it away to sell in the garden shops for garden rock and walkways and different kinds of things.
Oh.
How rude. The mountain did nothing.
Here's a good picture of a cinder cone in Lassen. There's several of them. This one, you can't really see how red it is, but when you, a lot of times the cinders are reddish. And when you dig into it, here, this one you can really see how reddish it is. Let me see if I can actually find a picture of Red Mountain at Fossil Falls. There we go. You guys will recognize this. Have you seen this before? Do you remember seeing this? Yeah, we drive right by it. And there used to be two humps. And little by little over the years, one of them got smaller and smaller and smaller till it's almost all gone.
Did they leave that one alone?
There's one that they've mostly left alone, and I don't know whether they just don't want it or don't need it, or if it's protected, or if maybe it wasn't as good a quality, because depending on how the ash comes out of the vent, you know, it can make it a different quality, sometimes a better quality or not as good quality for what you would want for it. Here's another one, another view of that. Do you see all these big chunks of basalt around there? Those were also, they either flowed and cracked, or some of them are, you'll find what we call volcanic bombs. And volcanic bombs are really big chunks of basalt that get blown out, and they fly up through the atmosphere, which smooths them and polishes them as they cool. And then they land, and you'll see, let me see if I can find you a picture of a volcanic bomb.
I think we finished.
Did you finish already? You guys are so good. Okay, so here are some different pictures of volcanic bombs. Here's a good one. You can see how it got thrown out while it was still soft, and the air kind of shaped it. They tend to be, you know, sort of long and skinny and pointed at either end, and some of them are, you know, weigh a ton. They're huge, and some of them are smaller. Here's one out in the middle of, looks like it's in nowhere. How did it get there? It was actually, look how big it is. That actually was thrown up into the air by a volcanic explosion. Isn't that cool?
Looks like baby
Wait,
Yoda.
that rock?
Yeah, and they call it a volcanic bomb because imagine how hard it hits the earth when it comes down.
Imagine how much lava and pressure needed to.
Look how this one hit so hard it embedded itself.
Yikes!
And there's a great big one.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No one's house was living on where those racks hit.
So the next time we go to Mammoth, if you would like to stop at this place called Red Hill or Red Mountain and Fossil Falls, we can go see volcanic bombs, and we can see cinder cones and all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh look, there's a one that rock up there looks like a baby's head, a head of Yoda. On the top right, that looks like Yoda's head. Whatever that person's holding.
Oh my goodness, wow. That is coming out so good, guys. You did a great job. I like how you made the bottom dark like a regular mountain, like the volcano would look like, and I can see the lava coming down, and where it's really hot, where it first comes out of the crater, it's so white hot or yellow hot that it's glowing yellow. That is so cool. You guys have done a fantastic job. Okay. And Emmanuel, I told Nathaniel, I posted the video on your behalf on the learning site, and I have a Volcanology 2 badge. And when you post your work, videos or pictures of your working volcano model that you're building, once you've done that, you get a badge. Do you want to go see? Do you want to go see the badge? I'll show you the badge.
I'll get this out of the way.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again.
I'm gonna cover this up a bit.
There it is. Okay, so you see this picture of the volcano. It has Madame Pele, who's the Hawaiian volcano goddess, and her hair makes the sides of the mountain, and her face and her shoulder are like the lava flow coming down, and then she has sort of, they call that a coronal, like a crown glow. The coronal glow are the fires of the volcano around the lei that she has around her head, like a crown. Isn't that cool?
Wow, that's cool. That's actually really cool. I didn't have.
So when you log in next time, Nathaniel will already see his, and after I post today's video on your behalf, Emmanuel, you'll have that badge too, and you can collect all the badges at the learning site as you complete the activities. And I'm making more badges.
Woohoo! Nathaniel, why do you do that?
Get any of the excess paint off.
But then once you do that, twice, it makes any of the extra paint off go back on random place.
Okay, guys, I think that we're done with phase 2 of our volcano, and now what we need to do is let it dry, set it aside and let it dry till tomorrow, and then tomorrow, or when you guys want to next have a learning adventure, we can mix the chemicals and make it erupt. You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so the job's not finished until everything is cleaned up. So we're going to let that sit on its paper and dry. What can we do to clean up in the meantime?
I don't know.
Well, let's see. Are any of those brushes have paint on them?
Yep.
Put it
So
away.
if we want to use them next time, we need to take them over to the sink and wash them out, and wash up the bowl where the paint drips were collected. Good job, guys. What are you eating, Emmanuel? That looks tasty.
A breakfast sandwich.
Aw, yum.
How are you changing your background?
Oh, the Zoom meeting software has an ability to change the virtual background. And so I think it's fun, sort of like, have you ever read the Miss Frizzle Magic School Bus books? You notice in those books, Miss Frizzle's dress always reflects the adventure that they're having. So I use Zoom background to reflect the adventure that we're having. So remember before, let's see, let me show you the old background. When we started, we were mixing chemicals, plaster of Paris and whatnot, to do the molding. So we started in the lab. So here I am in the lab. See the lab background? But today we're doing the art part. We were painting like an artist would. So I thought, well, I should be in an art studio. So I went and found a background of an art studio. Let's see, where did I put the art studio? There we go. And so today we're in the art studio.
One of the art studios is so high up.
Yeah, it's up high in a building, like at a college, someplace like that. And I think for when we actually make the volcano erupt, I think I will get a background of an erupting volcano, maybe one that's actually actively erupting. Should I do that? I think that would be fun.
Or scientists putting chemicals into one, or someone putting chemicals into a volcano and make it erupt too.
All right. Have you got a safe place to set it aside to dry until tomorrow, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Good job.
Just using this to pick it up because it's make a mess if I touch it.
That's a good idea. Okay, go put it safely aside, and then I'll stop our recording.
Well, bye, Papa.
Okay. Do you guys want to do another lesson today on something else?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to do it right now, or do you want to wait till later?
I'm fine doing it now.
Okay. I'm going to end this recording then.